Welcome back. All right, news of the day video for all you fine people. Yes, a second news of the day video due to things that have come out since the last one. Starting with the contract that's been signed today. The LA Kings have signed Trevor Moore to a 5-year deal worth $21 million. I've already seen some comments along the lines of, this is a bad contract, this isn't going to age well, what are they thinking? From people who clearly don't watch the Kings or watch Moore. Moore is a key guy in all situations for the LA Kings. I think there's potential for more scoring from him as time goes by, but he's a very good player for them, and I think this is a solid signing. I do. And I think when you look at the fact that the salary cap's going to keep going up over the next 5 years, this contract's going to look like a bargain as soon as next season, or at the very worst, the year after. And again, Moore being signed, the debate is going to be out there, but I think it's a good contract. And I don't think any Kings fans are going to dislike this contract either. I think this could be quite popular with Kings fans, but you guys can let me know in the comment section below whether it is or it's not. So the NHL, according to Sportico is saying that the NHL, the owners and the general managers are discussing whether or not the schedule should have an overhaul. I've heard the argument for this as well. More rivalry games, right? So during the 56th game season we had not too long back, right, where you're just playing in your division, you saw every team 8 times. And it did get repetitive and boring. It did. There were nights that it was very, okay, these are all the same teams against each other. How do I punch this one up? And it was tough for me to find an interest or find a different angle when I was doing the review, now known as a recap. And so it did get difficult. Now, over an 82-game schedule, it's a little easier. But the 8 games a season, I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're just talking about it. One thing that I've talked about before, so I put it on the board, is I like the idea of playing every team in your division 6 times. So that's 42 games in the schedule. And every team in your conference 4 times, which is another 32 games, which is 74 games. And then you'd have 8 games against the other conference. Now, this will not fly. There's no way the NHL would ever go for it because owners want every team coming into their building once a year. And that's really what it is they want every team coming into the building. The NHL did, not too long ago, have it where you played the other conference for 16 games. So you only played 1 game against each team from the other conference. Owners didn't like that right away. So this idea of having more games against rivals, well, if you're also going to insist on having your team have a home game against every team, I don't know how that's going to work. Plus, let's just say that it's just rivals. You're going to have Calgary and Edmonton 8 times. Great. So when a team has 8 games against Arizona and you have 8 games against, I don't know, say Colorado, and so you're in the same division, are you going to be happy about that? Aren't GMs going to be kind of mad at the fact that they have to play 8 games against an absolutely top-notch juggernaut of a team while somebody in their same division gets 8 games against a team that's going through a rebuild? So you might have 8 games against the Chicago Blackhawks, or you might have 8 games against the Boston Bruins. You might have 8 games against Vegas. You might have 8 games against Anaheim. Like, I don't know how you make this work without ending up with a schedule that would make fans rage, and rightfully so, because 8 games is about 10% of the season, right? So I don't see how that's going to fly. I don't see a big overhaul of the schedule coming. My guess is the fact that this has come out has probably led to Bettman, shaking his head, getting a bit of a headache, but I don't think we're going anywhere with that. Speaking of which, Nick Kypreos has riled up Toronto fans, and I don't know, I don't know how disingenuous it might be or how sincere it is. So the way I look at it is this. Notice I don't do trade speculation, and I don't talk about a year and a half down the road, and this guy's contract's going to be high. So what Kiprusoff's talking about today is that Nylander, the way he's playing, he's an elite level player, and he's going to be worth X amount of dollars as a free agent. It's a lot of money, so they should trade him, right? And sign him. You don't want to lose him. And there's people dunking on him and for topics like at one point he talked about trading Nylander to the Anaheim Ducks in exchange for Montour and Nick Ritchie, which the answer to that's no. But again, riling up the fan base, I think it's kind of like shooting fish in a barrel. And it's the reason I don't do the trade speculation, like the whole Horvat thing. I'm in the market and all that, and I know that I could do videos on Horvat probably once a week, and we could get through the whole debate and everything, but I don't think it goes anywhere. And I think that what we've learned in recent history, JT Miller was gone out of Vancouver, right? Signs a deal. Gaudreau staying in Calgary, leaves, right? Huberdeau, he wants to go to market. Traded to Calgary and signs a long-term extension in Calgary. So all of the discussion over who wants to stay, who doesn't want to stay, who's going to be worth how much they're going to sign for, those conversations don't really end up aging well in general. So I don't know if he's doing it just to rile people up or not. I would think not. I don't think he's doing it just to rile people up. He may very well feel that way, that, oh, they should trade Nylander before they lose him for nothing. But it would be an odd thing to do when you're one of the best teams in the league and you're not going to get a fair return right now on Nylander. And you're going to be trading, not only that, but think about it too. Kyle Dubas promised to keep the core four guys together. So then you're going to trade one, which is going to leave the other three thinking, so are we going to go two then when our contract's up in a year and a half? So I don't think that's going to go anywhere. But I wanted to weigh in on it because I know people are talking about it. And so I'm going to throw that out there that they're not going to trade Nylander. It's not going to happen. Dubas is going to move hell and high water in order to keep this core four together. Whether that's the best move or not the best move, it's all for people to decide, I guess. But I don't weigh in on it because, again, it doesn't age well at all. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Also, Tony DeAngelo is currently on the non-roster for the Philadelphia Flyers due to personal reasons, and it came out that his grandmother has passed on. And that can be really tough. I know when my grandmother passed on, it hit me really, really hard. My grandmother was my best friend. I lived with my grandmother at brief periods of time when I was growing up, and honestly, she was fantastic. So when she passed, it was really, really tough for me. And she had really bad health issues down the stretch there too, and it was really tough. So what I didn't like was people immediately, oh, it's probably this and that, and mentioning politics. And let's just push that aside. We're all human beings here, and when somebody loses a parent, grandparent, and God forbid a child, that's a different situation than anything else. So for Tony DeAngelo, my condolences. I hope he's okay and takes his time. There are people that work through that kind of pain. There are people who can't. So I pass no judgment on a player that needs some time off when that happens, or I don't pass any judgment on a player who doesn't take a game off and says, no, I'm going to keep playing. That's what they would have wanted, kind of thing. So all the best to DeAngelo in what has to be a really tough time. Nick Ehlers for the Winnipeg Jets. For Jets fans here, the good news is he skated for the first time today since his hernia surgery for the Jets. It's been a rough last couple of games. I don't read too much into that either. I know there are people who will, but I don't read that much into it. I think that it all balances out over an 82-game schedule, but they do miss Ehlers, right? So the sooner Ehlers can come back, the better. We'll see when that happens. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding any of these items on the board. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.